Hello there, my guys and gals. So, today we're going to be looking at Galactic Conquest. Once again, this is our next part of our series. I know we're taking it a little bit slow. This is going to speed up a little bit more. Just kind of run through a few more things. We've gone ahead and we've already discussed in previous videos what to kind of expect as far as for routing, for bonuses, for a lot of different great things. So we're kind of just going to go ahead and really give this more of a feat look today. I mean, we've only got so much left of Sector 1 before we get to the end of it. Now, within that, remember, you got to go look at your feats. We have to complete these feats here in Sector 1 specifically. I'm not trying to waste any energy at all within feat, within the first bit. Now, you can always go back and you can do whatever you need to do later on, but we're really not trying to mess with it too much. So, my thought exactly is going to be, let's get these feats taken care of in this video here. So this is kind of more of an intermission, kind of running through a few different things before we get to the final boss, which I'll just go ahead and do in a separate video. So if you're looking for the boss a little later today, we'll go ahead and we'll make that happen. But for now, we're going to look at the key cards, or the data discs, as we call them. I still think they're great as key cards, and burritos. So different things to be looking at. So we can go ahead and go after the shop, which we kind of discussed and said it's bullcrap to go for it. Does not seem worth it whatsoever. Apparently, I actually learned today that you can go ahead and you can find more shards for the Razor Crest in Tier 4 and 5. I don't know if that's going to be on hard mode or if that's going to be on normal. We'll get there eventually, but today we're going to be looking specifically at what we want to go ahead and do within our Sector 1. So I want to go ahead and I want to go for my key cards here. I like that quickening key card. This is something important to me. I'm going to have to look at one of these enemies between the General Grievous or the Night Sisters. We've seen multiple Night Sisters throughout this whole thing. So we're going to go ahead and take out this team of Imperial troopers here because I want to go ahead and take out the Night Sisters. So we know we have to go on this bottom path. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and we're going to give this a go. You can't look at the stats, once again, of the characters that are on here, but let's go ahead and just give this our best go. We don't want to go ahead and use our above and beyond units because, well, there's it's just not worth it. So I'm actually going to go ahead and look at my Galactic Republic. Now, you may have a different style roster. I'm not necessarily showing the most inexpensive counters to these, because since these aren't counter videos, I do have a list of counter videos for those who are interested, but for those who are just more or less looking at, you want to kind of more or less kind of get an idea of what to go forward with, how to get these things going. This should give you at least more of a tactical standpoint on a lot of these videos. So let's go ahead and jump into this first one here. I know that Imperial troopers are notorious for their counters, which, wow, okay, we still got some debuffs already off the bat, and things I should have looked at, actually, which is a very big part of look at what the heck you're dealing with before you actually give this a go. Since there's buffs, there's debuffs, we're actually going to look at what some of these aspects are once we've gone ahead and had a chance to go ahead and fully deal with this, per se. But that's one of the things I've been failing to look at, and I know that I really always recommend it, and it's very hard for me to continue to push and recommend reading and understanding when I'm not showing it and teaching everyone, okay, this is what you need to do, per se, to get to where you need to go. So within this here, I mean, this was an easier battle for me. This could not have been an easier battle for someone else. I had a phone call come through there for a second, and it totally jacked up my feed. So Normally, if you're a YouTuber, make sure you have airplane mode going so that you don't have calls coming in, or at least just shut them off. There's a great way to do that. I can share that later on for anyone that's interested. But we went ahead and we beat the Imperial troopers. Awesome. Okay, so I still know that I want these data discs. So we have either the General Grievous team or we have ourselves the Night Sisters. I'm more interested in these Night Sisters. So, as usual, I'm going to go ahead and break out my Dark Side troopers. Now, if you remember from my earlier feeds, you've seen them. We've used them consistently. We've used them over and over and over again. In fact, these guys are probably your heroes if you have them. Now, I mean, Snow Troopers, another great one. I have failed when it comes to Imperial Troopers, and you can kind of see where I'm at. So I have these great guys to start off with, but we're now at 97%. You can see it really is not that much of an impact. We're going to go ahead and take out another Night Sister team with these Imperial Troopers, and just know that I bet you if we go back and look and see, we are going to find the same buffs that we've seen the 3 times before when it comes down to these troopers. So I want to go ahead and take out Asajj Ventress. I don't really care for her being in this team, especially now that we don't have a DACA to look at. It makes it a little easier to feel like we're going to go ahead and just take her down and be all good. Cool trick, if you didn't know, you can actually use the aspect of Deathmark against the Night Sisters, and by using Deathmark, you actually can kill a Night Sister before you get the 2 kills that you have to get with the zombie being present. So if you just want to get rid of a Night Sister right off the bat, feel free to use your Death Trooper to get the Deathmark out there and just absolutely just destroy her, or whichever one you're going to go for. I usually use DACA as my individual that I wanted to take down and go for. So boom, there we go, another team down. So we've gone ahead and used our troopers once again. Fantastic. All right, so we can now go to our key cards. We talked about this for a second. I like this one here. I like the extra speed, and I want to go ahead and pop that baby in there. Confirm. We have 7 now out of 12 from our series. So I looked at it, and kind of enemy-wise, I mean, well, you can kind of see which enemies that I prefer to take down are our Night Sisters. Here we go. So let's go ahead and look at our event feats. We currently are sitting ourselves with no tanks and a team. We have, I mean, there's some things that we need to work on over time, but we're still in a fine spot. So let's go ahead and enter, and let's go ahead and look at our feats. We currently have 2 of the feats beaten. We need to use advantage at some point in this. For me, looking at it, I'm probably going to go ahead and, because I can take out the Night Sisters, I'm probably going to take out the Bounty Hunters with my First Order using advantage. Now, I could technically use the First Order against Treya here, which really is not a bad idea, but I am feeling pretty good about still going this direction here. So let's go ahead and take actually a look at the Limitless Magic. Once again, these are the same buffs, debuffs. I like to mess with this there, that we see every single time. So we're not seeing anything different. I don't know if it's just because the way that they built it, you don't see anything different, or if it's just because they just don't feel the need to necessarily be different. It's up in the air, really, to be honest with you. Now, obviously, they're going to be a little bit built up comparatively to some of the others. There we go. That was a mark of Deathmark to show that you can kind of just take one down real quick. But for me, it's interesting to kind of see that they're using the same things over and over and over again. I still think the mode is fun. I think it's more as close to a sandbox as we're going to get. for some time. But really, at the end of the day, you know, it's still fun to see what they can go ahead and kind of bring to the table here. So my Imperial troopers once again get a win. So we use them over and over and over again. They're just really a great team to be using. So we can go ahead and go with either one of these here. Whether we want to go with bugs, or if we want to go with the Mando units for that aspect. And in fact, I can't say for sure what exactly we're going to get here. Let's go ahead and go to our first order. And unlike a lot of my other runs where I'm just kind of showing just cheap crap, we're going to go ahead and we're just going to throw together just a team to take this down. Let's see. Okay, there we go. So we're actually going to use my big team just because I want to get that advantage up, and just finish her off. There we go. So you always want to take a look. Again, we'll actually take a look at what the bonuses are after this. I've been awful about that this entire video. I know. But at the same time, you can kind of, depending upon where you're at, if you are a newer player, definitely take a look at the bonuses that are to be had, per se. But if you're not, you know, and you've got a great roster, you've got that 8 million GP, you've got that 7 million GP. I have a 6.3 million GP. This doesn't really get me too crazy right now because I have to, you know, I'm going through the normal mode. If I'm going through hard mode, it's different. But see, I still got the feat reward for the Bantha burritos there, as Arnold will call it. And we're all the way through, and I've really not had anything come to mind as far as for what is difficult. So, this is just the beginning. I've beaten all 3 feats. But, you know, let's go ahead and we'll take a look at it and kind of go forward. And I hope that you've enjoyed this video. And as always, Skinless is out.